What's up, people? It's Friday. I feel like this has been a really long week. I don't know why. Or maybe short week. I don't know. I feel like it's been a bit of a whirlwind.
A lot going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I took off the took a week off in Milwaukee, so maybe that's why I feel a little different. I don't know. Anyway, it's Friday. What's going on with you?
I had a busy week. It went by pretty quickly. A lot going on. But it's been good. Got a lot done. Let's see. I'm trying to think of I got my Friday report here, but I won't read that to you on the podcast. That wouldn't be very fun.
Yeah, one of the things we do is I have all the heads of state, provide me with a Friday, summary and report of, things that I need to know and things I need to work on, or hopefully things I don't need to work on, things that they're working on, just to provide me with an update of, what's going on with the company, and so I can think more globally. So we do that every week. So Bryce, Chris, my dad, Kyle, all provide me with those updates. But I think I like kind of where we're at. We're still on pace. We should do right around 1 million or so this month. In a July and off July, and I feel good about 2 months ago I felt like everybody was just going to walk out, because there was no end in sight, and so we've made a significant investment in bringing some people in, and I think we've had a really great success with the guys that have come, and and have already kind of shuffled some people around a little bit. And now, my dad sent me the Friday report, which makes a lot of sense. He's already sort of one step ahead of me in that I'd want, people to be able to do multiple things. And so especially if we have a little bit of downtime here, I think we're going to have a really significant fall, when the Civic comes back, the Civic giveaway. We're doing the garage giveaway here in the next several weeks. Completing that. So we may decide to do a giveaway at the garage. The big problem we have right now is supply of things, and so the media team and I will probably be sitting down here soon to talk about our next giveaway thing, and create some buzz and some traffic back to the site. But lots of people doing big orders and big garage designs and stuff like that, and so now I've noticed an uptick in that because moving Tommy over to the tech support has freed up Kyle to focus on that kind of stuff, so we can start to build out that team and that department. So it's been a we had a good 6-month run of real difficulty, but now I feel like now we've increased capacity, and now I'd like to test that capacity if we can, going forward here. But I gotta call the contractor to find out what's going on with the plans, but we should be moving forward here soon with permitting on that.
Yes, that's the next big step here, which you mentioned in the tour video, as I recall. Got a lot of positive comments on the tour video, so if you haven't seen that yet, go check that out. I think it came out yesterday.
Yeah, the other building that I own, which is about 4 or 5 miles from here, that was where the CrossFit gym was. That's why I bought the building, and the CrossFit gym, I shut it down, and so we're going to turn that into our distribution area, where we're going to do our bottling, packaging, shipping. And we're going to turn this into one big showroom media area, video and design studio. So that's what we're going to turn this place into. I haven't really even thought about too much how this would be set up, but I would think, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 2-post, a 4-post, the Noose Bomb. So probably, continue to get back to talking with Ben Pack about doing their HD9 4-posts, have that be our 4-post lift that they'll allow me, do the SPL 2-post with the low profile arms from Noose Bomb, and then I'm going to be swapping out the scissor lift here with a what do they call it? I forget what they call that thing. Jumbo 7. Yeah, Jumbo HF7 or something like that. And I just have to make the decision on which one to do. Whether we do the German version with the dual locks or not. And So those are going to be our lift provider, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to be able to do custom colors, and they'll have them in stock, and they'll have great support, and so I'm excited about that. I think it's going to do extremely well for them from a marketing perspective. So I have a couple of things to iron out with them. But the intent would be to also at some point to have a fully functioning, mounting, balancing, and alignment rack in here as well. That's what I want to have, so I don't have to go anywhere. I can do it myself. I think that'd be super cool. So I've been talking to Hunter. We're going to do a Hunter Revolution and then a Hunter Road Force, and then what I'm hoping to do is become a dealer for those, so that I can provide those to people when they need them, when we're doing some of these really high-end garage designs, and then also convince them to hook me up with a $80,000 alignment rack. I think that'd be sick. So when we move the shipping out of here, I'm going to kind of revamp this. We're going to get some MSS Plus in here. And continue on this ascent, this path to be able to provide an end-to-end solution in the garage. I mean, we're not even close of the amount of product and things that I want to create, but we're making progress every day.
All right, let's see. Mike in the chat, our Canadian buddy, wants a birthday shout out. So happy birthday, Mike. The Rack Company said something about OG getting their new hybrid micro twist loop towel. You seen that yet? Have you heard about that?
No. Yeah, I got to get moving on microfiber 3.0. I want to make some changes to it, some towels I'm just not finding myself using, and there's a couple of new towels that they have that I'd like to revamp, and so I got to get working on that.
All right, let's see. Silent Diver, excuse me. He's tuning in from the UK, so that's cool. And Chase from Utah. Hello from Toronto, Canada. Oh, more Canadians. That's all we need.
I've been on a bit of a Canadian kick here lately, buddy. You might want to. I'm gonna ship you up there. It's gonna be your.
I'm not going to Canada.
Yeah, put you in head of Canadian operations.
I would screw it up on purpose so I could come back home. No, the Canadians are nice people, and I imagine it would be much easier if we had something up there, because most of the issues we have with Canada is the whole crossing the border and all the issues that creates. So if we got something up there, I imagine they'd be even more awesome people than they already are.
Yeah, Rick tells me that the Canadians don't really like me, so yeah, it's understandable. There's a lot of people don't like me. Some do.
I'm sure the percentage is the same across the globe,
across the demographics. Yeah, some dude sent me a real cheery email here. Did you see that one?
Yes, I almost deleted it, but I figured you might want to reply. So.
Oh, yeah, you should have deleted it. It would have been way better. Of course, he never uses his real name.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
He was in the chat a lot last week, actually. Under
that
same name.
Yeah. I'm sure he's watching right now, ready for him to get a mention. He's blocked, so he won't be able to do it. I get it. There's some people that are a little simpler, and they don't realize what's happening with them. That this guy that in whatever way they've decided isn't as good as them, which is ridiculous. I mean, the probability of you being better than me, Chris, is pretty slim, right? I'm sure that'll get it going. But that some dude isn't as good as them, and then they just nitpick and they can't get over it. And I think we all have a tendency to do this, and some people just are emotionally unstable and can't get out of it, and they watch everything I do and everything I say, and then as soon as I just want them to go away, so I just say, just get out of here, man, just leave me alone, and then then they get real mad. Like, you arrogant. I'm like, no, man, I just don't want to talk to you. You're not nice. You're not. No one wants to be around that. This is my house. This podcast, the YouTube channel, the website, the Facebook group. This is my place. This is my existence. This is Instagram. These are my sort of digital existence, if you will. But it's a snapshot of my life and my house. And I do not invite you into my house if you're going to come and start talking trash. So you're out. Just see you later. And then, how could you blame someone for that? You're a dick, and then you come to my house and be a jerk, and I say, come on, man, just get out of here. And then you come back kicking and screaming even more. Yeah. I think it's little people. I don't know too many large people that like get that way. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. He needs some zebra cakes or something.
Yeah.
Somebody to love him.
But that's what he wants. I mean, he wants to be, he wants to be loved. Daddy told him, look, I don't love you. Get out of here. And that's like the worst thing that you could do. And then they look for more justifications on why they're smarter. I mean, someone that lack of self-awareness is not smarter than me. It's just not. It's not possible. For gosh sakes, it's just not. There's. We're not even in the same stratosphere. So leave me out of your crazy existence. So I get that all the time. It frustrates me because it's like I just can't imagine doing that. Like, get your own thing.
You don't send out emails like that.
Could you imagine?
Just say I'm the cooking guy.
Yeah, could you imagine like one of your bourbon guys? Have you ever like, you ever find like a bourbon guy that really doesn't know much about it but has like a real big following? You're like, man, and then you just start, start questioning him, try to catch him slipping, right? And then at the end he says, "Get out of here, Chris," and then you send him a nasty email saying you're fat and stupid.
Wear bigger shirts.
Oh man, yeah,
that's fun. All right, let me get you a Krensler question I saw here, and we have people joining from South Africa too. That's cool. Krensler question for you here, Matt. 1322 TS is starting to have oil residue on the bottom of the pump. Is it time to rebuild? It's been about a year with daily use. How do I find, or where do I find a seal kit?
Yeah, I don't know. There's all kinds of little things. I got to tear it apart. I would go back and watch the video where we tear apart the 1122 just to kind of assess. The oil in the Krensler is not as it's not like in a regular internal combustion engine where the oil is like, if there's something wrong with the oil, the engine's toast. I mean, the oil is certainly necessary for cooling, and so the plungers are DLC coated anyway, and so if there's a little bit of oil residue, it's probably needs to be kind of disassembled and retorqued. Maybe needs like you say, maybe a seal kit. There's a little bit of oil getting past the seals. Usually it's not oil getting past the seals, it's water getting past the seals into the oil. And so it probably just needs to be reseated. There's, if I remember correctly, there's 4 bolts that kind of holds the head of the pump onto the electric motor, where the wobble plate is and all of that. But a year in, again, it's a man-made thing, and so it sometimes needs man-made maintenance. And so if it were me and mine was doing that, like my big one is got a drip out the bottom of it that I've been using it for 4 years now, 3.5, almost 4 years, and so it's time for me to do some maintenance, take it apart, and put it back together and clean it up. And that's the beauty of a high-end machine like that, is that you can perform these things. Like if that started happening to the the Karcher or some other sealed piece of crap, then there's not much you can do other than just throw it away.
All right, let's see. Oh, we also have someone from Thailand. That's a long way away. So thanks for tuning in.
Is Thailand not English speaking, isn't it? Right? They speak Thai.
So. Yeah, they speak Thai.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of countries they speak both.
Colin.
I know we have a huge following in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people at SEMA that from the Philippines say I need to go there. Yeah.
All right. There was a lot of feedback, humorous and positive feedback on your our live video on Wednesday afternoon when you were rage polishing. Lots of excitement about that.
So. I like that. That's a new. That needs to be a T-shirt. Rage polishing.
Yeah, we've got lots of suggestions about following up the blood handler.
Stay tuned for more stupid.
Rage polishing rather than gravy is for babies. I thought that was more appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's the final?
Yeah, I just finished it up. I mean, the hood was where I started, and the hood was by far the worst part of the car, and it just took a lot of grinding away, and I ended up not having to be as aggressive with the rest of the car. I would say I've got 90% of it off. I'm just frustrated that I didn't think. I mean, now it seems so obvious when you stand in the garage and you feel the air moving, and I didn't think anything of it when I actually, let me rephrase that. I did think of it. I'm like, well, I'm spritzing this onto the towel, but I was holding it so that I could get decent dispersion. I was holding, 6 inches away from the towel, doing 2 or 3, spritzes on it, and The issue is that then the air just comes swept all that up and then just blew it around the room, and then it just gently settled down. And you can see where as I work around the car, where it was had the most time to do that. And then the problem was, I recognized it when I was putting the second coat. I'm like, what the heck is that? And I'm like, well, maybe there was a microfiber towel disintegrator and it'll wash off or whatever. And then again, it still didn't occur to me what had happened. And then I wanted to get the car out in the sun so that I could get the paint heat cycled and make sure the water spots didn't come back. That was the whole point of doing this temporary can coat. And then so I baked that crap on there solid, and it was on there for a darn month. And so then it wouldn't frickin' come off. So now it's off. I just finished the finish polishing. The bumper's on, trunk's on. There's a new bumper and trunk. Is all the paint looks good. And so now I'm gonna wash it because I had to use M101 on the whole car. So I'm gonna wash it, clean out the jams really well, clean up the trim, and then I'm gonna coat it with CSL XO. So I'm going to coat it, to probably put CSL on tomorrow and then finish up the XO this week. And I'm going to tear the interior apart. I want to take the seats out. The driver's seat has a little squeak to it, so I want to grease that. And then clean up the Alcantara really well. So the M3 is going to sit in the garage for the next week or two, getting just dialed in. And then hopefully I can just not touch it for a while, just wash it, drive it around. That's the goal.
All right, I want to go back to another Krenzel question that came in from Instagram, Squall67584. Is it harmful to the Krenzel 1322 to run it with a pump on but no tip on the gun? I've done it a couple times and don't think it'll hurt it, but I figured I'd ask.
Nah, I mean, you wouldn't want to do it for 20 minutes straight, but yeah, no, there's not really any problem doing that. I mean, it's like anything. I mean, if you run the pump dry or you let it sit there and idle too long, it overheats. I mean, all those things kind of beat up a pump. It'd be like your car idling in a parking lot is not great for the car. There's no airflow moving, but can you do it? And is the car going to break tomorrow? No. So it's one of those things that, yeah, I mean, if you have the choice, you want to run it as it's intended, but yeah, that's not going to hurt anything.
All right, I want to go to this similar question, kind of along those lines, about pressure washers from Bill. This might be a Mike T project here. Similar idea to pressure washer spreadsheet. We've talked about this before. Can you develop one for product dilution ratios?
Yeah, I guess. I don't really dilute much, do I? O&R.
Pearl? Do you dilute Pearl? Yeah.
That's really it.
Oh, it's a simple spreadsheet then.
Yeah, I mean, I guess soap. Adam's car shampoo. So, yeah, I'm sure we can come up with something like that.
All right. Jack wants to know from Facebook, Matt, what do you think of the optimum range of sprayable compounds? Are they any good? Also, the tour video was great to see.
Yeah, I mean, they work. I've used them at Optimum HQ, under the tutelage of Ivan LaCroix when he was the head of training. I just don't like how messy it is. Their methodology is really slow speed. And you wash out the pad after each use, and they owned the patent on sprayable polishes. I just find it really messy and unnecessary. And so their concept was no pressure, low speed, and then wash the pad out with a pad washer after every use. So it's just a different technique, and it works. It certainly cut the paint and. And lots of people have adopted that methodology. I just prefer the typical style of blowing out the pad and which has its own set of messiness as well. But yeah, their stuff works. I don't know. I just didn't love it.
All right, let's see. This one comes from Sean on Facebook. Can you please talk about why you don't like the Melee? I've used one and really liked how it eliminates stalling. Heard you mention you don't like forced rotation several times, but never caught the details about why.
Yeah, it just beats you up. I don't like how it feels. It just doesn't feel smooth. You have to change up your use of it. And if you use it for an hour or so, then you get used to it. But you have to follow the machine rather than you dictating the machine's direction. And so a Melee is superior if you're just learning, just trying to figure it out. But I think the finish is better. I think that the probability of you blowing through an edge blowing through the clear on like an edge or a peak or something that is much more minimal. It's really not recommended that you use microfiber on a force rotation machine because the orbit is much smaller. You can tend to dig or scour or cut into the paint. So you really have to just use wool and foam, and I like microfiber a lot. But it's personal preference. I mean, the machine's heavier. It's got more torque, which beats you up quite a bit more. There's a lot more vibration through it. And I'm just so used to dual action. I've used it for so long. I just think that it's a superior, despite the fact that there are quirks to it. I think that a free spinning dual action polisher is just more refined, and now with larger orbits can cut pretty much the same. With 15, 21 millimeter orbits that now exist.
All right, Dan asked on Facebook. Matt mentioned having used 3000 grit. That didn't do anything to denub the BMW paint surface. I asked because I saw a recent detailing video where they sanded the car down to remove the orange peel, i.e. to take out the high spots and even out the clear coat.
So remember, let's give a quick little lesson on sanding, of which I'm not an expert. I know experts, and so I've learned a lot about it. But the difficulty with sanding and having very little artistic expertise and artistic ability is you can do all you want with thinking paper to paint, but when you actually physically do it, it's much more complicated to do it correctly than you'd think. And so it's not as simple. That's why a dual action polisher is so great, because any idiot can use it and get a pretty decent result. And so when you're using 3000 grit, most 3000 grit sandpaper is foam backed, so it won't remove orange peel, so it won't take out texture. And one of the problems is if you take out texture in one spot, you got to take out texture in all spots. So you can't just grab 1500 or 2000 grit and start grinding away on a scratch, because then that's whatever portion of the paint that you sanded on will have texture removed, and the rest of the surrounding surface won't have texture removed, and it'll make it look like a shiny spot, or if you sand too much, a dull spot. So I used 3000 grit to see if that helped, and it didn't. With the it almost treated the little dots, the overspray, as if it was a piece of orange peel, or it was kind of working its way around it. And so I found that it wasn't knocking it off. I thought it would, but it can't just grab 2500, 2000 without a foam backer. And even with a foam backer, then I'm going to change texture, and then I'm going to have to sand the whole car. And I'm not good enough to sand up to an edge. I tend to dig into the edge and then trying to get those out. And if I were to machine sand it, machine sanding, it has a whole other host of issues where you could end up with pigtails that are nearly impossible to remove. And so when you get into sanding, especially a car like in my M3, you look at how much paint am I going to remove by sanding versus how much paint am I going to remove by hammer polishing, rage polishing, if you will. And because the 3000 grit wasn't working, and because of this, this thing where I can't just sand out, grab a more aggressive paper and not affect texture, it made sense to me to continue to polish. Again, sanding, you can't just remove texture, and because you probably end up removing too much at the top of the clear coat, and you mess up UV inhibitors and all of that stuff. And so most modern clears, you don't have enough paint to sand enough to remove it. The other thing you have to keep in mind is that once you sand it flat, part of the advantage of orange peel is that it takes your attention away from the fact that not all your panels match up. Not all the metal is flat and straight, and so if you have a perfectly flat clear, you better have perfectly flat metal. Otherwise, it's gonna look worse than having some orange peel. And so, orange peel largely is a byproduct of them moving to water-based and having less solvents and having VOC requirements and stuff like that. That's part of the byproduct of orange peel. But the main reason for orange peel from a lot of manufacturers is to take the attention away from the impreciseness of the stampings of the the metal or the plastic or the bumpers and all of that stuff. And so you're transitioning from material to material. They don't have a chance to block it out and Bondo and perfectly match it like if it was a Riddler car or something like that.
All right, let's see. I have a question here from Seth. Excuse me, not Seth. Brian on Facebook. Are you still planning to go full Dundon on your RS? I may be interested in the AWE if so.
I don't know. I just talked about that yesterday at the Wash and Talk, which should be up this weekend. The car's just so good now. It's just like it's like my projector that I decided to do. I had it perfectly functioning, great little home theater, and was functioning great. And then I decided to wake up one morning and decide I'm gonna make it better, and I made it 10 times worse, and nothing works. And so my RS is just so nice. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it drives. I love everything about how it's set up. And so I'm not super inclined to mess with it, but I'm sure one morning I'll wake up and say, all right, let's do the headers. Let's do the catted, and the Black Series center muffler. Let's do the plenum and the intake and all of that. And I don't know if we'll even get there before the 992 comes out and I make the transition. So I don't know.
All right, question related to that from SM4130. Hello, Matt and Chris. So, Matt, how is Halo holding up so far?
Yeah, it's doing really well. I mean, one of my concerns was how it would hold up on the top coat of S-Tech and the PPF, and it seems to be, feels very similar. Looks very similar to my SunTech Miyabi ISM coated previous GT3. The only thing that have problems with is the G1 G-Technic G1 glass sealant / I guess they call it a coating, but doesn't play well with bead maker and is real smeary, and then end up having to buff it off. So I'm going to go back to Wolf's, which does play well.
All right, speaking of Wolf's, Jason wants to know, what are your thoughts about using something like Wolf's to seal the glass in a frameless shower?
I don't know. I haven't tried it. I probably should do it to mine. I don't know how that would do. But I don't think it would hurt. You need a lot of it. But that's one of the things that's been on my docket for a long time to do, and I just never done it.
Yeah, there's some chatter about that from time to time in the Facebook group. You should do a little search, see what others have done. Let's see. We have a super chat here, $100 Canadian from our Canadian friend Jim. Good afternoon, gents. Matt, wondering if you, as a fellow business owner, sometimes have that relentless feeling that the company is never moving quickly enough, despite how successful. It can be quite overwhelming, I find. Sincerely, your Canadian e-com friend in the trenches.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, a byproduct of being an entrepreneur, and wanting something specific. The thing that I put pressure on for me is I want the result. The result that I like, Milwaukee's a really extreme example of I want the result, and I'm getting pushback from people who say, I'm unsubscribing, I don't want to watch these videos, you don't know what you're talking about, you're an idiot, these videos suck. And so it's weird because I'm supremely confident in what I'm creating and where I'm heading and what I'll know at the end of this, and yet it angers me when people can't see that result. And so I feel very rushed to get to that result. And so, I want the guys to make the products faster and write the descriptions better and get the things ready to ship quicker and ship the things out faster. And so, it just depends on what day. I'm sure he's probably in the same boat where some days I wake up and I feel everything's good. Got this licked. We're going, we're doing, I'm living in the moment, living in the present. And so that's what I've been spending a lot of time on with therapy and stuff, is trying to figure out how to be present and to not live in this 40-year down the road existence, because it doesn't do you any good. But then you get there 40 years from now and you would have missed the whole darn thing. So that's what I try to focus on, and I don't do a very good job. That's why I said try, but I would like to focus on the ability to stay in the moment, stay present. My M3, I'm doing that today. That's what I'm doing, and I don't have to worry about next year's videos.
All All right. Along those lines, Milwaukee. We have a couple of Milwaukee questions. Number one just popped up in the chat here. This is aptly timed, I think. Pancake Sauce wants to know, will you be reviewing any of the Milwaukee Saw line?
Yep. Yeah, so I just did which should be up today, I think.
Today or tomorrow.
Yeah, is the Sawzall, Hackzall jigsaw stuff. And then I'll do the band saws and the circular saws and the table saws and the chop saws and the grinders and all the in-betweens. So yeah, that's all. I think I have 13 more videos to do on just opening the boxes. And then we have videos to do on, okay, which ones. And I'm really interested to see. I'm excited to create a everything package. Here's one of everything. Here's what I think you need. I already started digging into the accessory catalog this weekend. Or not this week, yesterday, last night. Digging into, okay, what saw blades, what drill bits, what are we going to need? Accessory pieces. And then, what stresses me out, going back to the previous question, what stresses me out is that, well, Milwaukee probably doesn't have the best drill bits in the world. And yet I'm going to choose Milwaukee's best drill bits. And then someday I'm going to want to have the best drill bits in the world that probably aren't Milwaukee drill bits. And so right now I feel like I'm a charlatan because I'm going to choose the best Milwaukee drill bits, which aren't the best drill bits. So yeah, that stresses me out.
All right, one more Milwaukee question here from our friend Eric here in South Florida. What essential Milwaukee tools would you recommend to a DIY fake mechanic like myself? Oil changes, suspension, basic engine mods, cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're compiling to what would be the essentials kit. I think you need you want some sort of 1/4-inch hex bit impact. The little stubbies are really nice. I don't think you really need the right angle ratchets. I don't love those, but I like having them around. I tend to find that I prefer an impact over a ratchet. And having a big torque, mid or high torque impact is also really nice to pull the lugs off. I probably use that tool more than anything. And so I'm going to compile that list and say, here are the essentials. Here's the essentials plus luxuries, and then here's what I think you would want if you wanted one of everything to be really efficient. And I don't think it has anything to do with your proficiency level. I'm proving that every day. It has more to do with what your desire. I mean, do you love tools? Do you like complete sets? Do you like Milwaukee? Do you like DeWalt? Do you like Makita? Do you like the product? Do you like to have them all lined up in your cabinet? Or are you doing lots and lots of work? I don't think it really matters. Doing lots and lots of work doesn't make anybody better than somebody who just likes to complete a set. So it's just different preferences. And so there's a real strong, male insecurity thing that, if I use my tools more than you, so I'm better than you. Well, actually you're probably worse than me because I can hire someone to do it if I wanted to. And so I would just want the option. And you may not have that option. And so that doesn't make you better. It probably makes you worse. So I think that I don't think proficiency has anything to do with what tools you desire. I like them.
All right, Christopher Williams asked a question here. I can answer this one. It's an easy one. Is your upcoming big press-all shipment going to allow you to sell the version 1.3 industrial sprayers separate from the bottles? I have version 1.1 sprayers looking to replace.
Yep.
Yes, we're going to have everything basically a la carte.
Yep.
A million
Tips,
of everything.
Straws, strainers, weights, full assemblies, full sprayer assemblies with all the above, and bottles, and they're also working on caps for us. So I want to have a full suite of products. Those new IK sprayers look pretty cool, or the bottles look cool. The sprayers look like junk. So that's another promising thing. Shoot, if the sprayer bottle thing existed, I wish I didn't have to do all this. I'd just buy it. It'd be way easier. But it doesn't. That's why we're chasing this.
All right, let's see. Jason Wallace in the chat here says, kudos to Kyle for helping me track down parts for my existing Stanley pressure washer. Apparently it's just a stupid Joe underneath, but I appreciate your time and effort making a kit for it.
Yeah,
cool.
the Stanley is a AR sourced, and so AR and Sunjo are made in the same factory. I actually just had a conversation with a contract manufacturer of who's we're gonna sort of work together on pump design and stuff like that in the future. I've talked about this many times in the podcast. One of the issues I have is that I go in and I do all the work, and then they use me to go sell all the product to all the competitors, right? All the people who have no original thought. And so the only way I'm going to be able to protect it in the future as we get bigger is that I still want to be transparent and tell people where it's coming from and what it is, but I'm just going to make it so no one else can sell it. It's mine. I freaking made it up, so why is everybody else selling it? Instead of having, and eventually in the future I'll have to go direct and stop this, buying through, mid-level distribution, because then they just freaking screw me, and go use my videos to go sell to other distributors. This is freaking stupid, to then mark the price down and not know anything about it, and then the people email us and we have to teach them how to do it. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. So it's freaking super frustrating. Yeah. And then those same people are the nastiest, meanest people. What do you mean you're not going to help me? So, well, you freaking bought it from somewhere else. What do you want me to call them? Well, they don't know anything about it. Well, you don't say. Well, gee whiz. Isn't that something?
Let's see. Here's a computer nerd question for you. I think you like this. Morning, Matt. Have you considered Bridge Vertical Dock for your MacBook Pros?
I don't know what that is.
Me either. I thought you'd know. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It sounds like some sort of organization system.
It's Bridge with a Y. I'm sure somebody will chime in and tell us. Let's see. What are your thoughts on IGL coatings? Recently got the okay to start ordering some products.
Ugh. I don't like Pro Only. We talked about this a lot. Pro Only, I think, is a bunch of bull crap. And they sell Pro Only. So they hold back their stuff because you have to be a special person to install it. Well, we did learn that I somehow managed to mess up can coat, but I'll never mess it up again, and I fixed it myself. And so I don't see why I wouldn't be allowed to have certain stuff. That's their business model. They're selling to pros only, and they all the pros that I know that use it really love the company because they really do support them and they go to bat for them. But that doesn't help me out. I'm not interested in becoming a pro. At least, the definition of pro meaning, have clients and customers. But I think the whole coating warranty, this freaking whole thing is stupid anyway. And that's where the Kenzo line and all their different coatings and supporting products. I'm sure there's probably, if you were a professional and you wanted a professional only coating, and you wanted to use that, to market, Modesta is super exclusive, and IGL same idea. It's that you can't get it elsewhere. But I become further and further and further removed from caring about that kind of stuff because being a pro is not something I'm interested in.
There you go. That's the Bridge dock there.
Oh, that's a Henge dock. Henge is the original company.
Yep. Bridge bought Henge, according to this there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, I used a Henge dock originally, but then they didn't ever get it moving for the newest version. So, yeah, I mean, I did like it. You just snap in your laptop and it connects to your USB connections, USB-C. But they didn't have a Thunderbolt 3. It was all Thunderbolt 2, and so then I gave up on it. And so now I just use the Rain Design stand. But yeah, I did use it for several years when they first came out with it.
All right, Tim in the chat here asked a question that Scott asked on Instagram as well. You talked about it before, but I lost the info. What is the OG pillow again? So what was your
Columbia. Yeah, it's a Columbia. It has like a cool side and a warm side. Yeah, that thing on the left there.
This one. Dual-sided pillow.
Yeah, Columbia High Performance Extreme Memory Foam Pillow. They only make it in a queen size. They don't make it in a king. But man, that thing is magical.
$69.99 on Amazon right now.
I'm a stomach and side sleeper, and a lot of times those pillows don't work very well for that. But that thing is freaking magical. I paid like $150 for it at some goof, mattress place.
There you go.
They're giving me a deal. It's normally $300, but we're going to give it to you for $160. And sure enough, there it is on Amazon.
$69.99. So there you go, guys.
Yep.
All right, let's see. We have a question here about the Rupes rotary extension. Have you used it? Do you like it? Is it worth having around?
Yeah, I haven't used it, on the car, but I'm sure it's worth having around. I just don't like little rotary pads. I guess the advantage is then you're not smacking up against the edge of things, but it doesn't work. It doesn't cut all that much. But it's a good thing to have, I think.
Have you ever had any experience with Bertolini pumps?
No.
I don't know what that is. Sounds Italian.
Yeah, sounds like it breaks a lot.
Sounds like Lamborghini. That's probably a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Daniel Gus on Facebook says, Matt, I'm very curious of your order history from Phil. Not sure which Phil he means, but you might.
From Detailer's Domain?
Yeah. Did you use Prima like the rest of us? What about Lusso Oro, Best and Worst products?
No, I never used any of that. I was back in the Nextzet days, it was actually Onesie Einzet, so I was buying some of that stuff, and Menzerna. But no, I don't even know what Prima is. I know Lusso Oro, but I never used any of that stuff. I think that was even a little bit before my time of buying from Phil. Phil was always someone who he's always tried to go find product lines that weren't represented in the U.S. and bring it here, and he was a major part of making Adams sort of available to prosumer types, and I remember seeing Prima stuff. Yeah, but I never used any of it. And then another company a lot like Prima would be Ultima, that I never really used either. I mean, there's so much stuff out there that who the heck knows.
All right, Jay has a question for you here in the chat. Do you have any suggestions for layout software? I'm closing on a house with a 3-car garage, blank slate, and I'd like to try a few layouts before getting it dialed in.
Yeah, I mean, you want something simple. I had a problem like SketchUp, Google SketchUp I just couldn't grasp it very well. But Home Designer software, it's like $99 or $80 for the software, is real simple to put together to figure out how to use. Like, you don't need watching tutorials or anything. So that's what we use here is Home Designer, rather than something like SketchUp. And then when you get into CAD or Revit, and those things require you to have an advanced degree to be able to use those things.
Let's see. Chris, great name there in the chat, says, do the sprayer wand foam cannon upgrades in the store come with the PF 22.2? The pics and description still show PF 22. Yes. Everything. Yeah. We only have PF 22.2s.
Yeah, 22s don't exist anymore. Yeah, there aren't any more of those bottles.
When do you typically use the Rupes wool pads? Question from Ryan.
It just depends. It depends on the paint. The wool pads are, I'd probably rather use those. They build up less heat than microfiber does, less quirks. So I'll use them if I can, like if I don't need the cut or, but it really just depends. Like when I did the R8, the microfiber wasn't working, but the wool was. And so you just have to try it. And I know a lot of people prefer, I prefer to use microfiber if I have the choice, if it's working. But wool is kind of my backup. And it just depends on the yellow wool is nice if you need you need something that isn't super aggressive. Like, I think, what did I do on the Civic? I think I used wool on the Civic. Just depends.
We got a super chat here. $5 from Tim, who asked about the pillow. Said, awesome. Thanks for the pillow tip. Just purchased. Here's a little commission.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I love that pillow, man. It's so good. I never actually sleep on the blue side. You can feel it. It's like super cooling. But then it gets hotter. So I always use the white side. But sometimes if I'm like waking up with a night sweat, like all sweaty, then you flip it over and you get a nice little cool, and then you flip it back over. Yeah, but you'll see. It's legit.
I'm tempted to get one now.
You should, man. It's so good. We need to get those in the store.
We'll work on that. All right. Let's see. Will you be reviewing the Milwaukee M12 stubby half-inch impact? It seems to have good reviews. Might be a lightweight alternative to the M18 line.
Yeah, I have it, and so I have the 1/4 inch, 3/8 half. I actually decided to put those in the cabinet. Yeah, the stubbies are pretty cool. I mean, I don't know that you need the 1/2 inch. I mean, you have to pick one. Do you want the 1/2 inch or do you want the 3/8? I mean, both are the same. Just one has a, they have a different anvil on it. So yeah, those will be in the store. I know we have the 3/8 in the store, but the 1/2 inch is the same thing. I'm pretty sure the what are they, 220 foot-pounds of output, but they're pretty cool. I don't think you're taking off your lugs on your car with those. But to take off bolts and things like that. I used it to loosen up the dyno exhaust the other day. I was pretty impressed.
All right, Young wants to know, have you sold the Brimbos on the E92?
No, they're on the car.
I'm getting one soon. Oh, I just lost it. And I'm looking for a BBK.
No, I think I'm just going to leave them alone for now.
All right, question from, let's see, Arian. Matt, if you were to rebuild your website platform from scratch, would you still use Shopify, Magneto, or custom built? Asking since I'm interested in starting an e-com business.
Yeah, definitely Shopify. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Some of the apps are annoying and some of the functionality is annoying, but man, we can build it all here without having to do anything crazy and have to maintain some custom site we tried and that was a disaster. So yeah, I like Shopify a lot, and I think Shopify is going to win that game. It's just, I think it's a better platform. Just don't try to sell guns on there because they'll shut you down. It is a Canadian-based company, so
we'll add that to the good side of the Canadian list there. Good. Let's see, Brian, super chat here, our buddy up in New York. Happy Friday. Can you order the Krinsler custom install solution with the, man, I hate it when it does that, OG spec wand and gun? Yes.
Have we turned it live yet, or are we still not out? The reason why we haven't made it live is because we're just trying to build inventory of the stuff.
Keep running out of stuff. And the new Cox hose reels come in next week, so once those are here.
Yeah, but yeah, we can definitely do it. Just email us.
Yeah. Detailer Jeff chimed in the chat. Get back to work, Jeff. Email support at Obsessed Garage. Jacob, super chat. Another pillow commission. I've been using a king-size pillow on a queen-size bed like a crazy person. My partner is tired of me hitting her in the face with it in the middle of the night. That's good, Jacob.
I'm telling you guys, that pillow is freaking awesome. It depends on for my sleep style, And Michelle got one too, so she likes it. So I just wish it was king-sized.
Yeah. That's funny. All right, Brian, another super chat. Hey, Matt, just a quick question. Why did you stop using Kamikaze's coatings?
Well, part of it, there's two parts to that. The first part is I couldn't get it, and what I was going to do is just not sell a coating. I was going to refer people, and so I couldn't get it, and then because it was I couldn't get it, and then it wasn't in stock when I was doing a car, and I forget who was telling me they love G-Technic. A bunch of people did. How come you never tried G-Technic? How come you never tried G-Technic? I didn't love G on Moe's. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I didn't love C-Quartz. And this was before the latest iteration of UK 3.0, and so UK 3.0 was coming out, and CSL. I got a hold of a bottle of CSL, and I met Eric and Shannon at Mobile Tech. I guess this would have probably been 3 years ago, two and a half years ago. And I think they had sent me a bottle and a bunch of other stuff, and I put it on the car, and it's just super slick. And so one of the things I loved about ISM so much is it looked kind of wax-like, but it's also super tacky. And I never had a problem with high spots on my car, but every time I put Miyabi on my car, I ended up with a high spot somewhere. I know that's user error, but even doing C-Quartz UK on cars and TiO2, I never had a high spot. So I did it on 3 different cars, ended up with 6 or 8 different high spots, meaning like an oil slick. Even though it was super easy to install, I just found myself not doing well. And I did Kamikaze stance on the wheels, and I hated that. And then again, I put CSL on, and it was the exact experience I was looking for. That same power lock experience where it's just so slick. And then and so I would probably give a slight edge to the look of ISM, maybe a tiny bit. I've grown to to like the look of CSL XO, and so it that combination of the two, I find that they're pretty decent water spotting, and if you did get a water spot, it's pretty easy to get off. And I don't think I've had a high spot yet with either one. I have with Ultra, but not CSL XO. So that's kind of the story behind it. And then, being as I could then provide people a solution. I get accused of this all the time. You're just trying to line your pockets. You're just trying to sell stuff that only you can sell. I'm like, well, it's one of those things where it's like, people are asking me for a solution, and it's pretty freaking awesome. And and I'm putting it on my car, so it would make sense for me to sell it in order to afford me the ability to keep doing this stuff. So that's the story.
All right, Rayhan wants to know, do you have any negative effects from the anti-gravity battery on the M3? I've got an E93 M3 and would like to save some pounds.
No, I haven't seen any. In fact, it starts up a little faster, so it feels like it has a little more crank to it. Yeah, nothing. It's been freaking awesome. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. Just get the they have a group. I think I got a group 6, but they also have a group 7 if you want it to be not so stubby. They both have the same 60 amp hour output, 1800 cold cranking amps. But they do offer 2 different versions. The long one, which would fit a little better in there, and then the short one. But the short one hadn't worked out great. So I like it. I like it a lot. It was $950 though.
It's a little pricey.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pillows you could buy instead. Let's see. Charlie, our friend from across the pond here, says, want to join in on the super chats. So that was $2 or £2 sterling.
Ooh, I like that. Keep it coming. Need to pay for that projector I bought.
Speaking of projector, let me go to this question real quick here. From Alex on Facebook, since you hate your projector and screen, any thoughts on going full baller and getting the 88-inch 8K OLED from LG?
It's just so hard. I mean, the thing's $20,000, and and it'll be $5,000 in like a year and a half. So it's like, no, I mean, yeah, it's not worth it. And then, so I have a 120-inch 2.35:1 screen, and the screen has all kinds of sparkle. I'm back immersed in figuring things out, and so I have issues where the thing shuts off. And so now I bought an 18 gigabit per second 4K 60 cable, but 4K 60 at 10 bits at 444 chroma will pass. It'll be about 23 gigabits per second. And so what's happening is when I'm watching that on now most stuff is HDR 8-bit, so a lot of the times it's fine, but I find that when it's just random, like the screen just shuts off in mid-use. Now I've got a 100-foot run. So now I figured out, well, there's not all fiber optic cables are created equally, and so now I ordered a $450 fiber optic cable, which are going to run that, which has 48 gigabits per second of headroom, and it's been certified and tested. And so I have that coming, and then the screen I got. So the screen is it's a Screen Innovations Black Diamond XL, but it's an ALR screen, which has a gain of 1.4. Now, I didn't choose the screen. I let the company spec it out. The problem is that you can see the grain of the screen. You can see it's called speckle. I don't know. There was a thing that's called speckle, where it looks like little speckles when you're watching a well-lit scene. It drives me freaking berserk. And so I'm going to punt that screen and get a different screen. So I've been dealing with all these issues. But the good news is the Sony projector actually had a big rainbow bloom on it, like a big blob that kind of went away. I don't know how that's possible. It's an LCD chip. It's fixed. But yeah, I bought a Sony VPL VW 695ES, which was like, I think I bought it for it was like $6,800 or something like that. So it's not $20,000. I wanted a laser projector, but again, it's the video stuff is always in such transition. And so to spend a lot of money on something video is a tough thing to do because it's going to be garbage in no time.
All right, Ty here in the chat wants to know, are you letting your FINRA series expire? A finance/ETF podcast would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten anything in the mail or anything like that. I should probably look it up Go to a broker check and let's see if I still have a license.
So
when it says, let go for, forget. Let's read what it says. Yeah,
that should be good. Let me give you another question while we're looking this up. Or actually, this is just a comment. Obsessed Garage, just wanted to mention how much I love your videos, and the production value has skyrocketed ever since I last watched. Keep it up with Milwaukee and more will come.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we're excited. I'm going to get the Canon R5. I'd like to the EOS R5. I think is if you can shoot 4K 60 to kind of have the same look and style of the Red camera that Michael's been using, and the C200. I'd like to get, our next step would be to get some gimbal close-up shots, and we'll probably start using mic more to help support that, getting tight and close on some of the shots.
All right, let's see. Any update on the Cox hose reel stainless steel fittings instead of the brass? Yes, we're getting new Cox reels next week. The stainless steel fittings, the individual piece, are a little behind because of lack of stainless steel and such. Good morning from Los Angeles. Wondering if there's any update on the bespoke Cox hose reel mounting plate. Yes, our buddy Andrew is working on those, but he had some issues as well, so we're trying to get them as quick as we can.
Supply is the big issue on pretty much everything now.
All right, what do I type here on Broker Check to see if you're still
just type in my name, Matthew Mormon.
Everyone go to Broker Check. We can do this together. And firm name or CRD, do I need that or no?
I think you just skip it. I should be the only Matt Mormon in there.
Matthew R. Mormon. Yeah. Currently not registered.
Ooh, yeah.
There's a Matthew Lorman, that poor guy.
Yeah, but when you go to more details, disclosure, what's the disclosure say?
2 disclosures. Click there. It is a jerk, number 1.
Uniform combined. So I got my license, and that was my Series 66 in June 16th of 05.
Oh, here we go. Those are your...
Employer separation after allegations. Oh, yeah. Click on that one. Go up.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Discharged.
Financial advisor terminated after he posted multiple videos online that exceeded the scope of his approved outside business activity report relating to his automotive business and video blog.
Terminated.
They call it a blog. That
video blog.
Yeah. Termination type discharged. Yeah.
Dishonorably.
Yeah. And then I had a customer dispute. And that was a good
2010.
one. Yeah. Some guy, it's for $40,000. So some guy, his buddy told them that you should always sue. This is 2008. He sold like on the low. He was in like a, he was in a portfolio. It was a real nice guy. He didn't mean to do this. He didn't realize the severity of it. But it was like, he was invested aggressively in his 401k, and he rolled his 401k over into an IRA, and we invested it more conservatively. Like it was like moderately aggressive to aggressive, and I invested it moderately conservatively. And in 2008 it went down like 10, 11%. So we killed it, right? And so he sold it at the low, and so then he submitted a complaint. And I had all his documentation. I had his risk tolerance questionnaire. I had his profile. I had notes of all of our conversations every time he called to freak out. It was pretty funny too. And then once we submitted I submitted all his paperwork, then they just dismissed it. But it's funny, it stays on your record. So now the problem is, how do I get rid of my frickin' licenses? I don't want those things.
Let's see. It said down here something about your 7/11/2018. Oh, that's yeah.
That's a separation.
Yeah. Exams.
I don't know. I don't know how long they stay active.
State licenses, we got 0. That's a good sign, right?
Well, that would be when you're registered in the state, because you have to be registered in every state that you have a relationship.
We get the detailed report.
Yeah. I'm looking a little shady there. 1 customer dispute, 1 termination.
That's not bad. Only 1. In 15 years.
You only need 1. There's some guys that have like a rap sheet there, man. Yeah.
I know what I'm going to be doing later tonight.
You're submitting a complaint.
Let's see. Rayhan says, thanks for pronouncing his name correctly. Hey, you're welcome. I had a student named Rayhan. That's how I figured it was the same. Let's see. We got a super chat here from Jamie. 1.99 pounds sterling. Any plans for beginner to obsessed series, like a progression?
Probably not. Not anytime soon. I could envision doing a lot more of that stuff as we get closer to having the store being robust and end to end, if you will, and then we can start to dumb it down and simplify it. So,
all right, this is from Drive Steady in the chat. Did you find that the GT3 RS delivers the same driver engagement as the GT350? I have a GT350 and thinking about moving to the RS, but hesitant due to no manual. Is the answer the regular 991.2 GT3?
No, you have plenty of engagement in it. You wouldn't feel bad about an RS. No way. You'd probably want an exhaust on it to make it fit the personality. It's big and wide and loud looking. You might as well make it loud. So as long as you put an exhaust on it, then you'll love the PDK, because you have full control of the PDK. It won't kick down on you, like it won't downshift on its own. You can bounce it off the rev limiter. You pull the paddles. You can engage neutral. So it's plenty engaging.
All right, we got a super chat here from Corey, $1.99. Matt, have you decided on an exhaust for the GT4?
No. I mean, Dundon will probably have something, so I'd like to do that if I can.
Let's see. Have you used the new rag company clay towel yet?
I don't like clay towels. They're too floppy. There's no reason to change the auto scrub, sponge and the auto scrub circle thing. They're perfect. There's not really any reason to make it any different. So I don't like towels. It's like why would I take something that's rigid and functions well and then make it floppy? I don't see the point.
Well, let's see. What's the status of the Civic? What's the update on the Civic?
I don't know.
It's in Boston.
Yeah, it's sitting in Boston, and they'll probably do what every car stereo place does: waits till the last minute, and then they'll pull 3 all-nighters and almost get it done. It'll come here, and then they'll have to fly down here to fix some of the stuff that they didn't get corrected. So I'm hoping that I gotta call Derek and talk him into getting moving on the thing, because I don't know that they've even started anything yet, but it's supposed to be back in about 2 weeks.
Let's see. Anthony wants to know, how's the Facebook views goal coming along? Like the videos?
I don't know.
A certain number of minutes.
I don't really have. Oh, he's talking about Facebook. Yeah. God dang it. We missed it by like 600 views. And now we're screwed.
Oh, we didn't have. There's a deadline?
Well, it's a 60-day, 30,000 1-minute view requirement. And we had, remember when I did that big promotion, I got a big announcement to do, and so we got like 12,000 1-minute views of that one video. And so that was like April 28th or something. And so when that dropped off to that 60-day window, we missed it by like 600 views. I should have freaking... And once you get it, you're grandfathered in. So I'm screwed. So
now we can't do it.
Well, we can, but I just need to do something else to get people to go watch something there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because we're averaging like 12, 13,000 views every 60-day period, which is half of what you need.
All right, let's see. Hey, Matt, are you still going to do that get-together with other detailers from YouTube and the internet?
I don't know. I mean, obviously it was shelved when, so we got shut down. But yeah, I'd like to do something like that, someday. It'll make even more sense if we have a bigger facility here. It'll be, fun to get, a bunch of people together and, see who would show up for it. I think it could be really cool. It'd be fun.
All right, let's see. John wants to know. He says, "Hello, guys. What is your dream car?"
I don't do dream cars. I just get what I want. The one car I want, that if we get to 25 million in sales, then I'm going to do a 997.2 GT3 RS 4.0. That's what I'm going to buy.
I don't know what my dream car is, but I like what I drive now.
I live dreams. What are you doing dreams for? Just get it. Figure out how to get it. So I don't like that. I hate that term. I hate that term almost as much as I hate a straight pipe. It's freaking stupid. Don't stop this dream business. Make it happen. Doesn't have to happen tomorrow. Stop dreaming about it and start doing it. If you're dreaming about it, you're never going to get it. That's just the way I look at it. You don't get your dream house. You figure out how to make it happen. It's just a house you want. That's the way I think about it. it's semantics here, but
If you are going to dream, use the Columbia dual-sided high-performance pillow. That's today's lesson. Are the blue Prolock cords still weeks out? Yes, they are still weeks out, Mike. We've ordered them. It's just a matter of them getting what they need to get them to us.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jeff, our buddy in Oregon, shares his favorite Matt quote here. I'm just good at life. That needs to be on T-shirt.
Yeah, well, some things I'm good at. But yeah, life in general, I'm pretty decent. I don't suck at it.
You're getting by.
Yeah, it's like, some people just suck. I go to CrossFit, and like I'm seeing this one dude who looks reasonably fit, and we're doing a wall ball. Any moron, like, if you can't do a wall ball, like squat to depth and throw the ball up to 10 feet, catch the ball in one motion, squat to depth, and you do that. If you can't do that in the first 3.5 minutes of trying, just go home. And so this dude, he's probably 45, 43, something like that. He was in his, not my age, something like that. And he's not as chubby as I am, but he goes and and he throws the ball up. It goes to like 8 feet. Which I don't even. This dude's like 5'10", and goes to 8 feet. He's using like he's using a girl ball. He's using a 14-pound ball, and he catches the ball, and he does like he does this. It goes like this. So for those who don't know, a wall ball looks like this. So sorry for those of you who are in
like an narrator.
So you squat down to depth right here. You keep the ball here, and you throw it up, and you catch it, and you do the same thing like this. And you throw it up, and so he does one of these things. So he throws it up, he catches it, and he goes and throws it up, and he kind of hunches over and does like a millimeter. This dude's 40 years old.
A 10th squat,
and that's like 90% of the people. How could you suck that bad at life? First of all, why would you come to CrossFit? Just go to a regular gym and do some half benches. You see people who do that. You do like the arm, the arm extensions, the elbow extensions, or the half squats. It's like, what is going on here? And then there was this. God dang it. So we had to do this. Yes, it was 2 days ago. So we had to do this thing where it was supposed to be like, in the CrossFit Games, I had this one workout where you had to do a burpee, and then you have to climb over the hay bale thing. You see that one where they had to do that? And so the hay bale's at 50 or 60 inches high or something like that. And so we'd set up some boxes, so you'd have to jump up, either jump up to your butt and push up onto the box, and then come over to the other side and drop down to a burpee and come up. And so this one lady is doing it. And first of all, she's not doing a burpee. She's going like just going into like a plank. And then she gets up, and the box is so low that all she has to do is sit on the box and just slide over to the other side. Like, what are you doing? Like, at least try. And the lady is, she's not 90. She's probably 50 years old. Not fat and not a shape. Just like how can you suck that bad at life? Like, how can you suck so bad that you won't even try? It's just crazy to me. And there's so many of these people. Like, just don't be regular. Be better. Don't suck at life, Chris. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be elite. I'm not elite. I can barely do a gosh darn handstand push-up properly. You can't do muscle-ups to save my life, but I can at least, start to put 1 and 2 together and improve and get a little better at it and try to do it. Eventually get one of them, for gosh sakes. So, dear Lord, it's just ridiculous to me. So,
all right, we got a super chat here from Beef Socket, $5 US. Have you ever heard of Sigma Core Coatings? Locals shop with great reviews, but they claim it's a proprietary coating and can't find any info.
That sounds like a hunk of garbage, so definitely it's no. Yeah, it's funny. It's when people, you have to vouch for me here, Chris. People think that, yeah, let's go to the gym. Let's go to the gym and let's see what's up. You might be a little fitter, faster, bench a little bit more than me, but I'm not a freaking slouch. My problem is I out-eat my working out. But yeah, I love it when a 25-year-old makes fun of me. When I was 25 and you're 25, I guarantee you I'd beat you at anything. Guaranteed. Don't care who you are. That's funny.
Yes, he is pretty good. I can vouch for that.
Talk about proper training. Come on, bro. It's like I was busting on Bryce, and Bryce is like, just go mountain biking because these guys make fun of me because I'm a fat dad. I'm 20 years older than all of them, or 15 years older than all of them. And I say, we're going to go mountain biking. I said, I can't wait to take all these youngies out there, and they're going to get freaking owned by this fatso, because they underestimating me. Oh, boy.
Oh, good stuff. All right. We have a serious question here from our buddy Raz. He says, lately I've been correcting paint while enjoying the podcast. One thing that keeps me going is a good Maddie rant. Today I have to finish an especially tricky car, so I expect it'll get late. So we might have already hit it for you here, Raz. But can you please ask Matt what his favorite crossover is, first of all, and why the Golden Corral is the best place for steak?
I'll never forget me, Larry Cosilla, and Jason Rose. We were at Mobile Tech on Kirkman. Kirkman, right across from Universal, right. And there's right where Kobe is, and so we were at there's a little convention center behind there, and so we were at that place, and we're gonna go grab something to eat, and nobody wanted to drive anywhere, and so we went to Golden Corral. Oof. And I'd never been. I just knew it was not good. And there was like nobody there. There were like maybe 6 people in the whole restaurant. And you walk in and you get the cup from like the stack of cups. They like just give you one that was sort of hand washed, sort of maybe. And we're walking around. I'm starving, and eating all day. And we're walking around, just walking around with my plate, just like. I got like one like chicken wing. I have like one chicken wing on it, and I go back and I sit down with like one chicken wing, and Jason Rose has this big plate and a big salad, and he's munching down, and I'm just because they're not from Florida, so they don't know any better. They're just scarfing down and stuff. Oh man, I'll never forget that. It's so funny. I'm just sitting there, bad news, cry laughing, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" This is the grossest place I've ever been to in my entire life. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. That's good.
But the funny thing is, when I was a kid, we had they didn't have Ponderosa in Florida, did they?
Yeah, they did.
And remember, did you guys have, if you got perfect attendance, you got Ponderosa gift certificates?
I don't remember that.
And so my mom was super shady. She would we'd save them up because both my sister and I, we were never allowed to miss a day of school in our lives. And so we had all these Ponderosa things, and we never went out to eat. And so we'd go to Ponderosa. My mom would use the gift certificates so that we could all eat. The whole family could eat. Man, I used to love that place. I thought it was the greatest place ever because it was all you can eat. I'm naturally a little fat kid, so I just want to eat, infinite soft serve ice cream. And
pudding and Jello. And
and as many of whatever. I can't imagine how gross that must look now.
They have like chocolate fountains now. Have you seen that?
Yeah, they had that at Golden Corral. Oh my gosh! You want to talk about the most? Just you have to pay extra for that, don't you?
I don't know.
It's like an extra 99
I've been once
cents.
in my life as well, and that was plenty for me.
Oh my word!
But people like when you drive by them there.
Welcome back. Are they open? That's got to be like
local mandates. So I guess it depends on the state. I thought buffets were not a good plan, but I'm pretty sure whatever you're eating there is going to kill whatever ails you.
Oh my word! It looks delicious though.
It does look pretty good. That plate does. Oh man!
Wow. Yeah. Golden Corral in Ponderosa. Good times there. Can you imagine getting a big plate of cottage cheese from Golden Corral? Oh my gosh. Or coleslaw. Ugh. That is my nightmare. I couldn't sleep even on that Columbia pillow. I wouldn't be able to sleep. Yikes.
Oh wow. Let's see. Ridicules Duck, actually. Are you going to do a new warehouse tour? So you're going to show what the new building looks like before and after? You got any plans there?
Well, we have some stuff. All this stuff is on Inside the Hex all the time. So stop being cheap and go sign up. And you get to see all this stuff all the time. We have an $8 a month option, don't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah, get in there. You can watch all kinds of business stuff. I might even change your life by not sucking at mine. So you can watch what's going on there. But right now it's just empty 50 by 100 building. And then I don't intend to make that one super pretty. But you know me. I'm sure we will.
Let's see. Jeff can see you comparing knives with the dude cutting meat at the buffet at Golden Corral. Take in your fancy knife.
Think he has a Yaxle?
I don't think they're using those at Golden Corral.
They have the Cutco reps come by, the Golden Corral guys try to sell them, cutting some rope and some pennies, cutting pennies with the scissors.
We have let's see. I used to watch a lot of the extra videos about lawn and house and things, house tour. Yeah. Is this content now inside the hex? He hasn't seen it
sometimes, yeah. Just depends on what's going on. So I do a lot of the vlog stuff there. I haven't had any major projects that I've had to video as of late. I'm going to do a home theater update video. I don't know what other projects I have going on. I do want to tear out the kitchen, the summer kitchen, and do that, but I'm not doing anything anytime soon. But
and then, is there an update on the lawn? We had a question on Facebook about that.
Yeah, he came out and took some soil samples, so we'll have some. It's looking pretty good. We have that one patch, when I took the picture of the M5 and people were losing their minds. Same people are like, "You suck." I found the one thing you suck at, which is one spot on your lawn. So that's starting to crawl in and kind of grow in, and we've got tons of rain, so that's been helpful. So hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll get our samples back, kind of see where we're at. But it'll probably take a couple of years to get the all that chemical stuff up to standard that we're looking to get to.
Let's see. 1031 says, so some of the more personable and business videos are inside the hex and not showing up on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah,
that's correct. And there is no. Someone asked if the videos were longer or shorter inside the hex. No, it's
the same. Yeah, an average of 30 minutes. I mean, the financial advisor video was 2.5 hours, so 2 hours and 15 minutes, something like that. And just depending on, I haven't had any big life epiphanies as of late, so I haven't done much hex casting. But the last 2 weeks I've done 2-day vlogs, and so I do a lot of that in there.
Let's see. Alpha Maverick on Instagram wants to know, how are the cats? Any updates on cats at the moment? Huh?
They're annoying the crap out of Michelle. Since we got the dog, then they're super want to be all up in it. And so the good news is we haven't had any rodent issues. The bad news is they freaking sit in front of the door and have to kick them out of the way all the time. And so it's funny to watch the dog, and then the orange one comes and tries to kill the dog. It's freaking funny. So it's like a regular old zoo.
You bought a zoo.
Yeah.
And then he follows up with, I can't wait to meet all of you when the pandemic allows me to get out of my country. And I looked it up, and he's in Chile, or Chile, as they say. So looking forward to that. That should be fun. If you were going to give a 17-year-old detailer any tips, what would they be? Don't
plan on doing it too long. I mean, it's a great time to man, I wish I knew about detailing in high school and college. I would have been a freaking baller, man. But don't get stuck in it. Don't. Sorry to all you guys that are doing it. You probably agree with me here. Go to college, get a degree. Shows that you can finish something. You can broaden your horizons, but get a real degree. Get a degree in mathematics, computer science, engineering. Get it in something useful. Don't get some general bullcrap degree. Get a degree in accounting. That would be super valuable if business interests you. So those would be like the requisites. My kids are going to have to major in something specific. Otherwise, I'm not freaking paying for it. Engineering, mathematics, accounting, computer science. That's it. It's those 4 things. We're not going for dance. You can dance all you want, but dance on your own time.
Philosophy.
Yeah, right. Get out of here. English lit. No, we're not doing that. And so while you're detailing, use detailing and try to get into a real school. Get into as good of a school as you can possibly get into. And do that, and you could detail your way through. And shoot, if you make a You know, I mean, if you're going to class, then you're, you know, especially if you're in high school, then you could do probably 3 cars a week. And then there's probably plenty of people around that you could convince to do it. Start doing regular cars and then kind of work your way up to doing nice cars, and you know, make yourself some money, like 20, 30, 40,000 bucks a year, you know, doing that. But I wouldn't get stuck in doing that for the rest of your life, because that's a freaking hard gig, man. All you guys that do it, man. I mean, you can be passionate about it, but that's a hard road. And I think the goal would be that you take that hard road if you're really passionate about detailing, you really love it, and you kind of build a business around it, and choose your path. But yeah, I mean, the getting out of the doing the labor part, unless you just absolutely love it, unless it's just like you wake up every day and you get a polish in your hand and you're like zen. If it doesn't feel like that, like that's what I feel like with Obsessed Garage. I wake up every day and it just feels magical that I get to come and play with whatever it is I get to play with today and make a video. I can't wait to get in front of the camera to talk about something specific, or I can't wait to do this podcast. If you're not feeling that while you're polishing or coating the car, you use it as a means to an end. That would be my advice.
Matt wants to know, is the Chrysler KWS 700 TS the replacement for Matt's at-home wash bay unit? Same pump, just a different look? Is it meant to be floor-mounted versus wall-mounted like the old version?
Yeah, you can mount it either way. Wall-mounted. It is not the same pump. It's a little bit more stout. It's tuned 3.3 gallons per minute, so it'll do about 3.8, 3.9 gallons per minute with a proper size nozzle at 1,000 psi. And that's the pump that I'll be replacing mine with, because I'm getting right at 3 gallons a minute with mine, a little over 3 gallons a minute. So this is just a newest version of their 20 millimeter pump, and I want to put it in another room so I don't have to hear it. It's freaking loud as balls.
Hey Matt, this is from Anthony, or you, Anthony. I was wondering if you have any real estate buying advice. I'm looking to buy my first home and thinking about building an OG spec garage. I know you've been doing a lot of searching lately in Alberta. You might have some wisdom to share.
No, those are the things you've been seeing was the Carolinas. That's the Blue Ridge Realty.
I would definitely go there. I'm not going to Canada.
Blue Ridge Realty. I think you want to avoid if you can figure out a way to sort of quantify what you want. See, when you're starting out, you kind of have to follow the rules. I'm going to put 20% down, or I'm going to get PMI. But you have to be careful that you don't get duped, you don't get taken. You don't get some mortgage broker douchebag who's putting, having you buy down buy down your interest rate and or there's massive origination fees built in and stuff like that. And I think you freaking go telling the pound sand about getting pre-approvals and all this stuff. It just say freaking take me seriously. I want to buy a house. And buy a little bit more than what you think you can afford, and then figure out how to pay for it. Figure out how to make it happen. But what is that sound? Oh,
it's rain.
Like, what's going on? My freaking car is clean.
Not anymore.
Dang it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not a real estate guy. It's such a pain in the rear. Real estate's the same thing with anything. It's like same thing with buying stocks. If you don't wake up and have this massive passion for it, don't be like that dude I was talking about at CrossFit who can't freaking do a wall ball and pretend like you're I'm gonna buy Tesla today, or I'm gonna get into rental properties. Don't be the half squat 14-pound girl ball guy. Be like, if you're gonna get into it, then make it your passion. And only do it if it is your passion. Otherwise, don't waste your freaking time. That's why, maybe not going to get rich off of real estate, but I have no interest in it at all. Zero. I don't want to have freaking dealing with changing toilets and stuff like that. If you can do math or use a calculator, it's a pretty simple function that unless you get lucky, you buy real estate in the right spot, then chances are you're going to end up generating less returns than you would if you'd started a business, or certainly if you started a business that was successful, or just did something else with it. And so, like, I've lost all passion for stock. I've hired some guy and said, "Here's, I'll pay him 1%, and you can just pick some bull crap for me. And if I can make a 5% return, that's all I need, because I'm making 2,000% returns on my money here in the business." So I've learned a lot in the last 40 years of my life, and real estate is not something I'm particularly interested in. So if you're buying a house, buy it because you want it to be your house. I'd say buy it a little bit more than what you think you can afford, and then figure out how to pay for it. That's my advice. And don't get freaking duped, and become an expert, and realize that your realtor doesn't know anything about anything. It's the biggest waste of life job ever created. And so know that 99% of them don't even know how to calculate a mortgage. They don't know, present value, time value, money calculation. Going. Uh-oh.
Hey, now we're back.
I don't think we're back.
Maybe.
Sat down and it freaked out.
We just blew up.
That thing came in.
A realtor just cut them off. Someone in real estate just shut the feed off. That's good.
We're back. We're back. Hello. A realtor wouldn't be smart enough to shut us off.
There you go. House buying advice.
Yeah.
I would concur with Matt for once that I bought my house almost 17 years ago now. And at the time, it was a stretch, the mortgage. And now it's like, looking at it, it's way not a stretch, which is nice. Of course, because I've moved up and I've made more money.
Mm-hmm.
And now you couldn't, when I look at rental prices just for apartments around here, I'm like, that's ridiculous compared to the mortgage hookup.
Yeah, but sometimes just renting is simpler. One of the wealthiest people I know on the planet doesn't own anything. He leases his cars, he rents his apartment. He's got more money. I think he has, billions. And he just doesn't want the hassle. He just rents it. And he'll improve the rental as much as he feels like doing, and just move on to the next thing. So the Dave Ramsey, pay yourself, no debt. It's a very simple. He's pandering to the average citizen, the regular person. I would argue, don't be the regular person. Be something better than that. Don't be the wall ball guy, the girl wall ball guy. Be something. You don't have to be. You don't have to be Warren Buffett, but try to be something decent. Try to be a little bit better. So learn about how to use an HP 10B2 or a HP 12C. Learn how to use a financial calculator. Learn how to all the line items on a mortgage document, and what you'd be paying for, doc stamps and origination fees and stuff like that. Learn about stuff like that, but don't aspire to that same dream of every American got to have your house paid off, and it's not necessarily the way to do it.
All right, we have one comment here from Kurt I wanted to get to. Hello from the Pacific Northwest. I just got my MTM Osmatic gun, one of those, and wand to upgrade my Karcher K5. Holy cow, what an upgrade. This thing is amazing. So,
it's pretty cool. I like that thing.
Have we heard anything from the M5 winner, Jose? Have we heard anything from him? Any feedback?
Nope. I got the two best winners ever. They're self-sufficient. They bought the cars. They like the cars. I haven't seen them up for sale. They're just freaking great. Yeah. The right people won them. And I didn't even rig it. Totally random.
Let's see here. Hey, gents. This is from Phil. Will Inside the Hex ever provide free shipping to your Canadian friends? I just started this OG journey, completed my OG pressure washer setup. I have a lot more to purchase from the store.
You get a
Thanks.
discount on shipping.
Well, maybe if we'd have OG Canada, if Chris would go up there and get it done, then yeah, we could do that. But no, it would be a huge loss.
I think
Yeah.
Or we
we'll
just
make
charge
discount
20 times
products,
more.
man.
What?
Once Shopify integrates, so Shopify is integrating
Bryce
taxes
is
and duty
updating for those who
into
can't hear you.
Shopify checkout soon, this year. So then we can offer people discounts internationally.
Yeah, Bryce is talking about the future possibility, like discounting. So whatever it would have cost to ship to California, we could offer that discount, and then Canadians just pay over and above. But I want to have Canadian distribution, so I've been talking to some people about it, the possibility of it, and yeah, I'm telling you, Dave Ramsey Dave Ramsey does nothing that he's telling you to do. Right? I don't disagree with Dave Ramsey's saying, but he's pandering to stupid people. His philosophy is that, look, I've got to dumb this down so that people can digest it. But Dave Ramsey's worth $250 million not doing what he's telling you to do. So keep that in mind. Dave Ramsey's taking huge risks. He's taking out large chunks of debt in the past in his life. He's made mistakes. But Dave Ramsey isn't like, I'm saving all my paycheck and to pay off my credit cards. And he doesn't have credit cards because he has $250 million. So
He's not helping people like himself.
Right, but he's not telling you, he's not lying to you. He's
Right.
super forthright. He's telling you exactly what he's doing, but he's creating actionable solutions for regular people. What I'm arguing is, don't be a regular person. Be something better.
All right, one last question here from Ryan in the chat. Matt, what are your current views on coatings versus Jessica and Colonnade approach? When might you choose one approach over the other, debating the best approach for a daily driven black car?
Yeah, I think you just Colonnade it if you're kind of starting out. So when I started making videos, coatings weren't great. Huge water spotting issues, really hard to install, and they looked weird, right? And so that's where Jessica Colonnade comes in. I liked it. Certainly there are other products that came along, Polish Angel Master Sealant and other, Sonax Polymer Net Shield that I used, and this and 1,000 other products along the way. And I played with some Swiss Vax waxes and all these different things over the years. And it's the same thing with everybody. Everybody's tried different things. There's Jet Seal and all these different Black Fire Wet Diamond and all these different things that have come along the way. Or you have was it Fuso 90 Soft 99 and all these different types of options. And so in the beginning, I just, instead of trying every option on the planet, I probably tried 40 of them, of the 4,000. And I like that Jessica, the Jessica Power Lock, which used to be Menzerna Power Lock, and just top it with some Colonnade. It was a great solution. Last 7, 8, 9 months, looked fantastic. Was better than just putting like a Swiss Vax Carnauba wax on. And it was a good, viable, solution, and I used for many, many years. But now coatings have really come along, and so why would you deal with I guess the only reason you would deal with the lack of longevity of Powerlock Colonnade is if you weren't super confident in your polishing skill. You're still honing that, still getting better at that. If you enjoy the process of every 6 or 8 months going in and revamping the car and re-waxing it, or if if it was a car that you weren't confident, you didn't want to have to compound again, some classic or something like that. But now the water spots aren't as big of an issue. They look much better. They're much slicker. We just talked about that with G-Technic earlier. Super slick, and you can get them off relatively easily, with a simple polishing. And so really it comes down to, can you polish? Can you polish effectively? If you can, then I think you would probably want to coat it. If you can't, then I would stick with the sealant wax until you can. Because you have to be able to polish to get the coating off in the future when it needs to come off.
All right. So there you go. It's a little after 3:30. I looked up the open locations for Golden Corral. Ocala is closed.
Oh.
But the Villages is open.
Okay.
Buffet. So there's buffet in some locations, cafeteria style in other locations, And if you're really sad and desperate and live in California and you want Golden Corral to go, you can get it to go only. I don't know who goes to Golden Corral to get it to go.
All the Dave Ramsey guys are
shame on
yelling
you.
at me. Is that what's going on? Is that why you're turning this off so I can't see them?
No, they're
Yeah.
buffet. Yeah, just comments about Ramsey followers.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. It's a genius. I mean, he doesn't have a license, so he can provide advice. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to say what he says. And I've listened to Dave Ramsey for years. I'm just telling you that if you're following that system, it's probably because you're broke. Don't be broke. But it is a good baseline. It's like reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it's a good baseline. But a lot of the stuff is kind of, and it's common sense. Don't go out and buy a bunch of crap. But it's also like you have to find a balance. Like I have a hard time balancing eating too many zebra cakes. If in theory I should be eating only superfoods. But I can't.
All right.
So.
We got people from the Netherlands, Sweden, and then one last super chat here from Yoshi. When are you doing the Little Debbie bracket? Oh, we didn't do it this week. We'll do it. We will do it though. I have it.
Okay.
The guy who emailed it to you he's been banned from the OG Facebook group.
Really?
And so he's asking to get back in. And that was his.
What did he do?
I don't know. I didn't.
What did he say?
I said I'd put in a good word with moderators, but I wasn't sure. So that's his way of getting back in.
See, that's cool. That's when you have someone who he probably said something real stupid, like said something real bad,
personal.
But he doesn't blame everybody else that the moderators are Nazis and these are horrible humans and you guys suck and you're so arrogant. No, he's just like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have done that. What can I do, kind of jokingly, to kind of get back in? That's how you do it. That's how any rational human would do it. It could happen to any of us. You pick a fight with somebody, accidentally, and you tell them to shut up, and then, Chelsea comes in and kicks you out of the group, and then, because we have zero tolerance, and then you send a Little Debbie bracket to get back in, maybe, but you don't call up Chris and say Matt is a bald, fat loser. I hate him. I hate him so much. He doesn't know anything. See, he can't even put can code on right. Don't do that. Don't suck at life, people. That's today's message. That's what you should call the podcast.
That's the title, Bryce.
Don't suck at life. Be better than having to pay off your highest balanced credit card first. Be better than that. Done.
There you go. We'll see you.
What you do is you use your credit card as cash and just pay it off every month.
Hungry.
You can't always do that, Bryce. Sometimes you need a titanium exhaust, and you figure out how to get some more hours to pay it off.
I use it as cash. That's what I do.
That's it. Get me off of here. Get me out of here. I'm done.
Done.
My ears hurt.